It was another record-setting day for the Cardinals on the gridiron as they beat Olivet 86-14. Before they start CCIW play in 2 weeks, there's only one place you need to be, right here on the Red Zone. Welcome to another edition of the Red Zone. I'm Mark Dahlquist. With me is head coach John Thorne. Coach, your team sets a modern-day scoring record by putting up 86 points against Olivet. Were you expecting that kind of day?
Well, we don't like it when you score that many points, except for the fact that you get to play an awful lot of players. And so we dressed over 90, and we played all 90, quite a few plays. And so in that respect, it was good. I think we kind of knew it was going to get out of hand. And so that's why we had so many guys dressed.
Don't you feel it benefits you, though, when you get some of those guys that don't get to see the field on the field?
Oh, absolutely. And it's fun for their families and everything, you know, but you also feel sorry for the other team. And so I'd rather have the games like the Redlands game where you have to go right into the fourth quarter all the way to the last minute and you're still playing to see who's going to win the game. Those things are really exciting.
Well, the Red Zone didn't miss a point scored this weekend. In case you missed the record-breaking day, we have you covered. Let's go to the highlight. Head coaches John Thorne and Rich Holku preparing their teams for battle as Olivet quarterback Jake Messer and company come to town to take on the pumped-up Cardinals, who are looking to get their second win of the season. And the Cardinals get on the board 2 minutes into the game as Brad Crackle finds Kyle Fedorowicz once again. This one from 11 yards out. Cardinals go up quickly, 7-0. After the teams swap possessions, it's Comet ball at midfield, and this one's picked off by Josh Mitchell. He goes all 50 yards to the end zone thanks to some fine blocking from his teammates. Cardinals jump out to a 14-0 lead. Next series for the Cardinals, short field to work with. Jordan Tassio at the helm for the Cardinals finds Joe Antonacci for the 10-yard score, 21-0 North Central. As we move to the second quarter, it's Tyler Dicken making the calls for the Cardinals, and he calls on Kyle Fedorowicz to haul in this 10-yard touchdown. Cardinals up 28-0. Ryan Kent gets in on the action as he rumbles for a 7-yard score. The Cardinals rolling past the Comets 35-0 in the second quarter. Cardinals secondary having a nice day. They had 4 picks on the day. This one finds Josh McLeod. Cardinals take over on the Olivet 31. Offense having a pretty nice game too. Dicken finds Alex Hahn on the shovel pass, and he'd weave through the Comet defense all the way down to the North Central 4 for the 27-yard gain. Nick Kukoc would cap off the drive with this 4-yard touchdown run to put the Cardinals up 42-0. North Central would go on to win this one comfortably, 86-14.
Coach, was there any phase of the game that wasn't working well this weekend?
Well, most things looked good, but they did a really good job of kicking the ball, squib kicks, things like that. So our kickoff return team didn't ever have a chance to really set up our normal return. So that was one of the areas where we probably weren't as good as we would have liked to have been. But otherwise, I think just about everything else was working pretty good.
For the third time in 3 games, the scoring started off with Brad Crackle pass to Kyle Fedorowicz. Is that sort of your go-to play when you're down in the goal line?
Well, Kyle is such a huge target. We can get the ball to him any place, but down by the goal line sometimes it does turn out to be a little bit easier to get the ball to him because people have to make sure they're filling the lanes for the run, and then that sometimes creates space for him, you know, and it's not that hard to get the ball to a guy that's 6'7", but I'm sure people are going to start defending that a lot better as the year goes on, so we'll have to create other ways to get the ball in the end zone.
Do you think if people start focusing on Kyle once you're down in the red zone, that'll open lanes up for other wide receivers to get some catches?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. The other guys are getting really excited because they realize people are going to defend Kyle or defend our run with extra bodies, and that's going to put all of them in one-on-one situations, and you hope you can win those.
Well, it seems the offense really had a short field to work with this week, thanks to the defense and special teams. How was that affecting the way you were calling the game?
Well, I don't get to call the game because
more the plays, I mean.
Actually, my son is the offense coordinator, so he makes all the calls on that side, and Coach Ponks is the defensive coordinator, makes them all, and nobody really wants to listen to the old grandpa anymore anyway. So once in a while they let me call a couple things on special teams, but that's about all I get to do.
Well, the special teams unit gave the offense great field position all game, and that's the focus in this week's What's the Word?
Our special teams, we don't count them as just something that other people get thrown onto. They're 1/3 of our team. We have our defense, our offense. Special teams is a huge part. We have a couple kids on our team who just play special teams.
It's real important. I mean, special teams is huge. You know, it's the third part of the game, and for us to set them up, or for defense to set them up, and special teams to set them up, the offense that lets them get 86 points, and we can have good games on all sides of the ball. So
it changes the mentality of the offense right when you get on the field, because when you're looking up, you're seeing the red from the end zone right away, and it's real easy to get in there. So you just get real fired up, and it was great from the team coming into a program that can do that, and having the people surrounding that just force it, and there's nothing else. They don't accept anything else, so it's pretty awesome coming into this.
Special teams is a huge part, and our defense always comes ready to play. Always give us short field position. Kind of kills our total yards on offense, but hey, we're happy with that. We're happy with the end result.
Coach, when you know the game's not going to be as close as it was at Redlands, does the game plan change at all coming in?
Well, yes, it does, because you have plans to try out some things to see if this player can do a certain job, this player can do a different job, and so on and so forth. So we put some different situations out there for our players, especially on special teams this week. I used a lot of new faces there to see if we had guys that we maybe had been overlooking and so forth. And we found the Naperville boy, Will Sayer, had an amazing day on special teams. And so it's quite a bit different. You try to plan things out completely different than you would for a normal game that you expect to be, hard fought all the way through 4 quarters.
Who were some of the other players that you were surprised with this weekend that normally don't see the field but really took advantage of their action on the field this week?
Well, the coaches really commented a lot about Austin Sadnik and Alex Mann. They did some great blocking in that whole 4th quarter. I think Mike Fleming and Mike Betcher had really great days running the football. And from the defensive side, there were lots of guys that really stepped up and started showing that they're ready to make some plays. John Ficosi, I think, got on a couple of fumbles, so he's around the ball quite a bit. So quite a few guys, and of course Caleb Bednar's. This is 2 weeks in a row we've got ahead and put him in on punt returns, and he did some pretty special stuff, returning the ball, and he also was the guy that intercepted a pass and ran it in for a touchdown. So a lot of younger guys that are listed as number 2s or even 3s. Did make some pretty big plays to make the coaches have to sit back and think, this guy can help us.
Might make some of those starters a little worried.
That's right, make them work harder.
But how does a game like this help the program for the future?
Well, because the young guys did get to play so much, now they've got a taste of Saturday football. Their mom and dad are excited and happy that they got to see their son on the field, and so it helps. But really, you'd rather play games where it's a little more closely matched most weeks.
Well, you guys really seemed to establish the run early. You had 38 rushing plays compared to only 16. Was that something you guys really wanted to do going in, was get that running game going early?
Well, we actually threw the ball real early just to get a little more work with the passing game before the game got out of control. And once we started scoring points so fast, Most people look at it and they sort of frown on it if you throw the football. So we didn't throw very many more the rest of the game, but the guys almost completed 100% of our passes. We had one drop, and then we had one that was just a little bit off target. But so that was good to see, because our passing percentage the week before was low. But we love to run the football. The offensive linemen that we have right now are just doing a tremendous job of creating creases, and running backs. Coach Sulo has done a wonderful job with, we've got 6 running backs right now that are all running extremely well at the varsity level, and that's a luxury when you have that many that can do that, and when you have enough depth at your offensive line to actually block for them. And that's really a luxury. So we were happy to get all 6 of those guys lots of carries.
You guys pulled Brad Crackle early in the first quarter. Was that something that the team knew they wanted to do to get the other guys some work?
Yes, it was. Brad had missed a couple of reads, and he had a rough week in practice a little bit on some of his reads, but he also had a brother getting married. So I'm sure he was slightly distracted and so on. But it wasn't anything that really Brad was doing poorly. This was a great time to get the number 2 and number 3 quarterbacks a lot of reps at the varsity level and find out, are they really ready to step in if he gets hurt, So it worked out great, and I'm sure Brad will be ready to go back to work against Carthage.
Well, we look forward to seeing him get back into action. Stick around, because after the break, Coach and I will be joined by a specialist in the return game and a defensive lineman as well.